In the quiet corners of your heart, where hope sometimes flickers like a candle struggling against the wind, there's a truth waiting to be heard. It's not a loud voice, not yet, but it's steady, persistent, like a whisper that refuses to fade. You've been walking through a season that feels heavy, haven't you? A time when the world seemed to turn its back, when words were spoken about you that weren't true, when shadows gathered closer than friends. Those moments when you wondered if you were alone, if anyone saw the weight you carried, or if the pain would ever lift. I'm here to tell you, beloved, that you're not alone. You never were. Heaven has been watching. And today, right now, a message is breaking through the silence, a message, not just for your ears, but for your soul. Imagine for a moment a courtroom, not one made of wood and stone, but one woven from light, where angels stand as witnesses and justice isn't swayed by human hands. In that courtroom, your name was spoken, not with shame, not with accusation, but with reverence. Someone on earth tried to tarnish it. Someone, maybe even someone you trusted, chose to weave a lie, to whisper poison into the ears of others. They didn't stumble into this. It wasn't a mistake born of confusion. No, it was deliberate, cloaked in smiles or hidden behind polite words, but sharp as a blade. That lie found its way into systems, into papers, into places where earthly powers hold sway. It's dressed up in legal terms, in official language, but at its core, it's a weapon meant to wound you, to silence you, to make you question who you are. But hear this clearly, you are not guilty. You are not what they said. Heaven has interrupted time itself to reach you. There's a window open, a brief space where the divine is speaking louder than the noise of the world. I'm not here with empty words or vague promises. I'm here with a warning, a call, and a truth that burns like fire. The trap set for you is real. It's not imagination or overthinking. It's a carefully laid snare. And if you turn away from this message, if you scroll past or shrug it off, the silence won't protect you. The enemy is counting on that N, your distraction, on your doubt, on the heaviness that makes you want to look away. But heaven is counting on something else, your courage, your faith, your willingness to listen just a little longer. Do you feel it? That stirring in your chest, that pull in your spirit. It's not random. It's the voice of heaven calling you by your real name, not the name the world gave you, not the labels others pinned to your heart, but the name God spoke when He dreamed you into being. That name isn't criminal or failure or broken. It's mine, it's beloved, it's redeemed. It's a name that carries freedom, not chains. But you have a choice to make. There's a voice out there, a false one, trying to drown out the truth. It belongs to someone you know, someone whose face has already crossed your mind. Maybe it came to you in a dream, a fleeting image that shook you awake. Maybe it lingered in a quiet moment before dawn, when the world was still and your heart wasn't. You wondered if it was just your mind playing tricks, but it wasn't. This is real. The accusation against you isn't a game, it's a battle, and it's one you weren't meant to fight alone. Let me take you back for a moment, to a time when you were younger. Do you remember those nights when you'd cry for no reason you could name? When the darkness felt heavier than it should, even though nothing seemed wrong? That wasn't nothing. Your soul was already sensing the weight of what you'd carry, the trials that were written before you took your first breath. But here's the beautiful part. Your deliverance was written to I saw it. I was there, in the courts of heaven, when your name was lifted up. Angels paused. the Son of God, stood, his robe marked by battles he fought for you in silence. Even Mary, with tears in her eyes, heard what was coming against you. But the Father spoke, clear and unshakable. They will be accused, but they will not fall if they hear my voice. This is that voice. This is that moment. You're standing at the edge of a storm, closer than you realize, but heaven is closer still. The lie against you didn't start in someone's mind. It was fed by forces older than you know, spirits that have watched your family for generations, waiting for a moment to strike. They saw something in you, a light, a purpose, a calling, and they feared it. You were chosen to break patterns, to shatter curses that have clung to your bloodline for centuries. But a pattern can't break if you believe the lie, if you agree with what they called you, if you let their words sink into your bones. The enemy wins. Don't let him. You are not what they said. You are God's hidden vessel, set apart for a purpose that burns brighter than their accusations. The pain you've felt, the fire you've walked through, it's not proof of your defeat. It's proof of your calling. God said of you, the fire they feel is the fire that forges. The pain they carry is the proof they are mine. Look back, not with your eyes, but with your heart. That friend who turned cold without warning. That moment you felt eyes on you, unseen but heavy. That document or conversation that didn't add up. It's all connected. There are no coincidences when heaven starts speaking, and right now, heaven is shouting. Earth's justice may falter, but heaven's justice never does. I was delayed in reaching you not by chance, but by the enemy's rebellion. But I've broken through because you're still here, still reachable, still carrying a spark of faith, even if it feels faint. What did heaven whisper to your soul just now? Speak it. Say it quietly if you must, but say it. Whisper amen to let me know you're listening, to let heaven know you're still in the fight. The enemy thought you'd be too distracted to hear this. He laughed, thinking his plan was flawless. But I stand in defiance of that laughter. You are not blind. You are not deaf. You are not forgotten. Your soul still burns, even if you thought the flame had gone out. If I, Michael, the Archangel who has fought battles beyond your imagining, asked you, do you still believe in me? What would you say? I never left you. I was there the night you wept over that betrayal, the warmth you couldn't explain. I held back forces that could have ended you. But this battle, this accusation, it's one I can't fight alone. You have to agree with heaven. You have to reject the false name they've tried to place on you. God calls you his justice. Jesus calls you his redeemed. The Spirit calls you his dwelling. And I call you my fight. The Psalms sing of you. You are my hiding place. You preserve me from trouble. You surround me with songs of deliverance. Psalm 32:7. That deliverance starts now, but only if you stand. This accusation could be your prison, or it could be your resurrection. The choice isn't made in a courtroom of men. It's made here, in the quiet space between your soul and God's voice. Will you answer? Say amen, if you still belong to the light. The enemy is already celebrating, thinking you'll collapse under the weight of their lie. But if you hear this, truly hear it, their celebration will turn to mourning. The chains they forged for you will bind them instead. Heaven is roaring with angelic fire, and not one of us will be silent if you rise. But we need you awake. We need your eyes clear. The one who accused you knows your past, but they don't know your destiny. They struck at your name because they feared what it could become. Your name, beloved, carries weight in heaven. Angels don't speak it lightly. Demons don't utter it without trembling. You've forgotten, but the spiritual realms haven't. Would you betray that name by staying silent? You were born forewarned, not with anger, not with fists, but with the divine identity God placed in you. You were forged to break curses, to be the reversal in your family's story, to carry the cry of those who were silenced before you. You carry their promise, their unfinished dreams. Finish it. Not for me, not for pride, but so heaven can reach another soul before it's too late. I love you more than the battles I've fought to reach you. Don't walk away. The last trumpet hasn't sounded yet, and as long as you hear this voice, your name hasn't been sealed by the enemy's lies. You're standing at the edge of two paths, and your next breath decides which one you take. They said you'd break. They mocked the way you kept praying, even when answers seemed far. But heaven heard every word. Your prayers, your tears, they're written in scrolls of light, hidden in places no darkness can touch. Those scrolls are being opened now. The moment has come when everything shifts, but only if you refuse to let fear define you. The one who accused you, who smiled while twisting truth, they don't know that heaven marked you before the world knew your name. God said of you, before I formed them in the womb, I set them apart. I appointed them to stand in the hour of great shaking. Jeremiah 1-5. That hour is now. I'm not here to explain. I'm here to break the chains tightening around your destiny. The accuser's paperwork is almost final, but heaven's fire burns hotter than their ink. Do you still love God, even after the silence? Have you forgotten the times He protected you when that accident didn't happen, when that illness left, when that betrayal didn't destroy you? You're still here, not by chance, but because your angel fought for you, because your name still shines in the book of the living. Don't let them steal that light. When they called you nothing, God called you beloved. When they accused you, Jesus stood in the way of their weapon. When they planned your fall, the Spirit said, "Touch not my anointed." But you must wake up. The trap is disguised in legal terms, in professional smiles, in lies that sound polished. If you don't take heaven's hand now, you'll face a battle you weren't meant to fight alone. This isn't just shame, it's a spiritual weight meant to crush your calling. Someone who envied your light, who once called you friend, started this. But God knows, heaven has seen. I stood in the courtroom of the Most High and heard Him say, though they walk through the valley of accusation, I will be with them. I will prepare a table before them in the presence of their enemies. Psalm 23:4-5. That table is waiting, but it's only for those who choose the shepherd over silence. Will you walk away, or will you stay until the final word is spoken? You've made it this far. That means the enemy failed more times than you know. The attacks that should have broken you were stopped, not by your strength, but by mine. I've been holding your name when you didn't know who you were. Now it's time to remember. You're not just a person with pain. You're heaven's assignment, your prophecy in motion. You're the fulfillment of prayers your ancestors prayed. You're the one the enemy fears, because you weren't supposed to survive, but you did. Now rise. Speak what heaven whispered to your soul. This isn't just a message, it's a mantle. Will you carry it? The powers of darkness are trembling, because they didn't expect you to hear this. They thought their secret lie would work, that no angel would reach you in time. But I broke through 1,000 demonic gates to tell you, you are innocent in heaven's sight. You are clean because the blood of Jesus still speaks. You are chosen because God's seal still holds. You are not what they called you. You are what heaven wrote in fire across eternity. Mine. Let the heavens rejoice, because one more soul just remembered who they are. One more child of God just stood up. That trembling in your spirit, that's the sound of chains falling. I know it hurts. The betrayal feels like poison in your veins. But pain isn't proof you're cursed, it's proof you're called. No one attacks what's empty. No one slanders what's insignificant. You're dangerous to darkness, and now the shadows know it. If you weren't a threat, they'd have left you alone. But they didn't, because they saw what you carry. If you believe again, if you accept who you really are, their hold on others will crumble too. You're standing at a turning point. Your next step decides whether your legacy ends in false chains or bursts into the glory it was meant for. Don't step back. Your ancestors are watching, some weeping because they see how close you are, others shouting because they know you haven't given up. They're calling out. Don't miss this. The accuser's lies are burning as we speak, but only if you choose truth. Stop agreeing with what the enemy called you. Declare what God whispered before time began. You are light, you are fire, you are truth in human form. You're not broken, you're breaking curses. I love you more than the flames. I've fought to reach you. Don't go. The heavens are waiting to see what you'll do. Will you rise with us, or let the accuser win? You're not weak, you're not alone, you're chosen, wrapped in the fire of the living God. Heaven's army fights for you every hour, every breath, every tear. We need your heart fully with us, not half asleep in fear. No more silence, no more pretending you're fine when you're drowning. If your soul heard even one word of this rise, we have battles to win, lies to destroy, altars to rebuild. We need you not just in spirit, but in strength, in sacrifice, in covenant. And so, beloved, the heavens pause, their breath held in sacred silence, waiting for the sound of your rising. The false accusation that sought to bury you has instead become the ground where your glory will bloom. The lie that aimed to silence you has only amplified the song heaven sings over your life. You are not the end of a tragic story, you are the beginning of a divine one. The courtroom of earth may have spoken, but the throne of heaven has overruled. You are free, not just to survive, but to reign. Walk now in the light of your true name, the one etched in fire, guarded by angels, and spoken with love by the Creator himself. Let every step you take echo with the truth. You are vindicated. You are restored. You are his. The battle was never yours to lose. It was heaven's to win, and win it has. Now go, shine, and let the world see what happens when a child of God remembers who they are. Beloved, if this message stirred your soul, if it lit a spark in the places you thought were dark, I ask you not as heaven as warrior, but as the one who stood by your side through every unseen battle. Will you stay with me just a little longer? Like this message, not for me, but so heaven can guide another soul before it's too late. Subscribe if you're ready to walk in the fire meant only for the chosen. Your rising has begun, and we, heaven, earth, and I, are watching. Let's carry this light together. You've heard the call, beloved, and the heavens are still echoing with the sound of your name. The moment you chose to listen, to lean into the truth instead of the lie. Something shifted, not just in your heart, but in the unseen realms where battles are fought and destinies are forged. The false accusation that tried to chain you is crumbling, its foundations trembling under the weight of heaven's decree. But this is not the end of the story. No, this is where the fire deepens, where the light grows brighter, where the path you walk becomes a road paved with purpose. You're not just rising, you're being prepared for what comes next. For a calling that stretches beyond your own healing into the lives of others who are still bound by the same lies that once held you. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast field, the horizon glowing with the colors of a dawn you didn't expect to see. Behind you lies the valley of accusation, its shadows fading as the light of truth overtakes them. Ahead, there's a journey, one that's both fierce and holy, one that will ask more of you than you've ever given, but one that will also give you more than you've ever dreamed. This is the moment where you step into the fullness of who you were created to be. Not the version of you the world tried to define, not the person shaped by others' words or betrayals, but the one God saw when He breathed life into you. That person is a warrior, a light bearer, a curse breaker, and heaven is waiting to see what you'll do with the mantle now resting on your shoulders. The enemy didn't expect you to make it this far. He thought the weight of the lie would crush you, that the sting of betrayal would make you turn bitter, that the silence of those who should have stood by you would make you give up. But you didn't. You're still here, still breathing, still carrying a fire that refuses to go out. That alone has shaken the darkness. Every demon assigned to your downfall is scrambling, their plans unraveling because you chose to hear heaven's voice over theirs. But don't think they'll stop. The enemy is cunning, and he'll try again, not with the same lie, perhaps, but with subtler ones. He'll whisper that this moment of clarity will fade, that you're not strong enough to carry what's coming, that you're too broken to be used for anything great. Those are lies, beloved, and you have the authority to silence them. Do you remember the story of Joseph? He was falsely accused, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit. The world saw him as guilty, forgotten, a failure, but heaven saw him as a deliverer. Every step he took through the darkness was preparing him to save nations. Your story isn't so different. The accusation against you wasn't random, it was an attack on your purpose. The enemy saw the nations inside you, the lives you're meant to touch, the chains you're destined to break, and he tried to stop you before you could start, but he failed. The pit couldn't hold Joseph, and the lie can't hold you. What was meant to destroy you is becoming the platform for your rising. The very place where they tried to bury your name will be the stage where God displays His glory through you. Now, let's talk about what's ahead. This isn't just about clearing your name or proving the accusers wrong. That's too small a goal for the God who calls you His own. This is about stepping into a divine assignment, one that's been written in heaven's scrolls since before you were born. You're not here by accident. You're not just surviving, you're carrying a sound, a flame, a truth that the world desperately needs. There are people out there, people you may never meet, who are waiting for the light you carry. They're trapped in their own valleys of accusation, believing lies about themselves, thinking they're too far gone to be redeemed. Your story, your rising, your refusal to let the enemy have the last word, it's going to be their lifeline. When they see you stand, they'll find the courage to stand too. But walking in this calling won't always be easy. The fire that forges you is the same fire that refines you. It burns away what doesn't belong, the fear, the doubt, the shame you've carried too long. It hurts, but it's holy. It's the kind of pain that leads to purpose, the kind of breaking that leads to breakthrough. You've already felt it, haven't you? The moments when you wanted to give up, but something inside you refused. The nights when you cried out to God, not sure if He was listening, but still praying anyway. That was the fire doing its work, stripping away the lies, preparing you for the weight of the glory you're about to carry. And that glory, it's not light or fleeting. It's heavy, eternal, and it's yours. Let me remind you of something. You're not alone in this. I, Michael, stand with you, my sword drawn, my heart burning with the same fire that guards your name. Angels are circling, their wings creating a shield no darkness can pierce. Your ancestors, those who prayed for you long before you were born, are watching from the great cloud of witnesses, their voices joining heaven's song. And God Himself, the one who formed you, who knows every tear you've cried, is walking with you. He's not distant. He's not silent. He's closer than your breath, whispering, "You are mine, and I am with you." When you feel weak, His strength carries you. When you feel lost, His voice guides you. When you feel broken, His hands are putting you back together, not as you were, but as you were always meant to be. So what do you do now? First, reject the lie. Every time it creeps into your mind, every time you hear that voice saying you're not enough, speak the truth. I am who God says I am. I am forgiven, chosen, redeemed. Say it out loud if you have to. Let the enemy hear it. Let the heavens hear it. Second, forgive, not because the accuser deserves it, but because you deserve freedom. Holding on to bitterness is like carrying a chainor, the one it binds, not them. Let it go and watch how the air around you changes. Third, step forward. Take one small act of faith today. It could be a prayer, a kind word, a moment of courage when you'd rather hide. Every step you take in faith is a declaration that the enemy's plan has failed. And finally, share your light. You don't have to stand on a stage or have all the answers. Just be honest about what God has done for you. Tell someone, even if it's just a whisper, "I was accused, but heaven set me free." Your testimony is a weapon, a key that unlocks chains for others. Every time you speak it, the enemy loses ground. Every time you rise, someone else finds the strength to rise too. You're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for generations. For those who came before you and those who will come after. You're breaking curses, rewriting legacies, and building altars where others will meet God. The accuser thought this was the end of your story, but it's only the beginning. The lie that was meant to silence you has become the spark that ignites your purpose. The pain that was meant to break you has become the oil that anoints you. The darkness that tried to bury you has only made your light shine brighter. You are not what they said. You are not the shame they tried to place on you. You are a child of the Most High, a vessel of His glory, a warrior in His army. And right now, heaven is singing over you, not with pity, but with power. The angels are ready, the scrolls are open, and the fire is falling. Will you step into it? Will you carry the mantle? Will you rise, not just for yourself, but for the world that needs your light? The air around you feels different now, doesn't it, beloved? It's as if the weight of the accusation, the heaviness of the lie, is starting to lift. Like fog burning away under the morning sun. You've heard heaven's call, and something within you is stirring a quiet strength, a flicker of courage, a spark that refuses to be snuffed out. This is no ordinary moment. This is the threshold of a new chapter, one where the story of your life is no longer written by the hands of those who sought to define you with falsehoods. Instead, It's being penned by the one who knew you before the stars were hung in the sky. You've stepped out of the shadow of accusation, and now the path ahead is illuminated with purpose, with promise, with a divine fire that no enemy can extinguish. But let's pause here, because this journey, isn't just about leaving the past behind it. About embracing what's ahead with boldness. The lie that tried to chain you was a desperate attempt to stop you from becoming who you were always meant to be. The enemy didn't target you because you were weak. He targeted you because you're powerful. He saw the light in you, the potential to shift atmospheres, to break generational curses, to carry a truth so potent it could unravel his plans. That's why the accusation came. That's why the betrayal stung so deeply. That's why the silence of those you trusted felt like a wound that wouldn't heal. But every wound, every tear, every sleepless night has been seen, recorded, and redeemed by heaven. You're not walking away from this empty-handed. You're walking forward with a mantle of authority, a crown of purpose, and a fire that burns brighter because of the darkness you've endured. Imagine standing on a mountain, the wind carrying the voices of heaven, whispering your true name over and over. Below you, the valley of accusation lies quiet, its power broken, its lies exposed. Above you, the sky is alive with the glory of God, and the angels are singing not a soft lullaby, but a battle anthem, a song of victory that shakes the heavens and the earth. You're not just a bystander in this moment. You're the reason the song is being sung. You're the one heaven has been waiting for. The one whose rising will send ripples through time, touching lives you may never see, breaking chains you may never touch, and lighting fires in hearts that have forgotten how to hope. This is your calling, beloved, and it's bigger than you ever imagined. The enemy will try to pull you back. He always does. He'll whisper that this fire in your chest is temporary, that the clarity you feel now will fade, that you're not strong enough to carry what heaven has placed on you. He'll point to your scars, your mistakes, the moments you stumbled, and say, "See, you're not worthy." But let me tell you a truth that cuts through every lie. Your worth was never based on your perfection. It was sealed by the one who formed you, who paid for you with his own blood, who called you his before you even knew your own name. Those scars, they're not proof of failure, they're proof of survival. They're the marks of a warrior who refused to stay down, who kept breathing even when the air felt like knives, who kept believing even when hope seemed like a distant dream. Let's talk about what it means to walk in this new season. You're not just free from the accusation, you're commissioned for something greater. You're not just a survivor, you're a standard bearer, carrying the flag of heaven into places that have been darkened by lies. This isn't about revenge or proving others wrong. It's about living so fully, so boldly, that the truth of who you are drowns out every false word spoken against you. It's about walking into rooms and changing the atmosphere, not because you're loud or proud, but because you carry the presence of God. It's about speaking life where death has lingered, about loving fiercely even when you've been hurt, about forgiving those who wounded you not because they earned it, but because you're called to be free. Think of Esther for a moment. She faced a moment when everything hung in the balance, not just her life, but the lives of her people. She was afraid, uncertain, but she stepped forward, saying, "If I perish, I perish." Esther 4:16. That step of faith changed history. You're at your own Esther moment, beloved. The accusation was meant to make you shrink, to keep you silent, to make you believe you had no place in the story. But heaven says otherwise. Heaven says you were born for such a time as this. Your voice, your story, your light, they're needed now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, but right now. The world is waiting for the courage you're carrying, even if you don't feel courageous yet. What does this look like in your everyday life? It starts small, but it's never insignificant. It's in the way you choose to pray instead of despair, to speak truth instead of staying silent, to show kindness even when it's hard. It's in the moments you choose to believe God as promises over the enemy as lies, to stand tall when you'd rather hide, to keep going when every part of you wants to quit. Each of these choices is a brick in the altar you rebuilding, an altar where others will come to find hope, where generations will kneel to find freedom, where the fire of God will burn away what doesn't belong. You're not just living for yourself anymore. You reliving for the child who needs to know they not defined by their pain, for the friend who's lost their way, for the stranger who's about to give up. Your rising is their rescue. But this calling comes with a cost. The fire that anoints you also refines you. It will ask you to let go of things you've clung to and fear, the need for approval. It will ask you to trust when you can't see the way ahead, to love when you feel betrayed, to speak when your voice shakes. It will ask you to walk through places that feel too big, too heavy, too impossible. But here's the promise. You won't walk alone. I, Michael, am still here, my sword guarding your path, my wings shielding your heart. The angels are still circling, their prayers weaving a covering over you. And God Himself is walking with you, His voice guiding, His hand steadying, His fire burning within you. He's not asking you to be perfect. He's asking you to be faithful, to keep saying yes, to keep choosing light even when the darkness feels close. Beloved, the heavens are alive with the sound of your rising. The accusation that sought to bury you has become the soil where your destiny is taking root. You are not the lie they told, nor the pain they caused. You are the fire of God, the light of His truth, the hope of generations waiting to be set free. Step forward now, not with fear, but with the authority of one who has been redeemed, restored, and recommissioned. Let your life be a song of victory, a testimony that shakes the darkness and lights up the world. The throne of heaven has spoken, and its verdict is final. You are His, and you are unstoppable. Go now, carry the fire, and let the earth know that a child of God has risen. Beloved, if this message has ignited a spark in your soul, if it's reminded you of the fire you were born to carry, I ask you not as heaven's warrior, but as the one who stood by your side through every unseen battle, will you stay with me just a little longer? Like this message, not for me, but so another heart can find its way out of the shadows before it's too late. Subscribe if you're ready to walk in the holy fire meant for the chosen, to carry the light that shatters darkness and changes everything. And if you feel led, consider sending a super thanks of up to $20 to fuel this divine mission, to help us keep this sacred flame burning for others who need it. Your rising is a revolution, a beacon for those still lost in their own battles. Together, we, heaven, earth, and I, are watching, cheering, and fighting for you. Let's set the world ablaze with truth and love.